Welcome everyone to Vested Interest. This is Shane back for a stock of the day video. I did miss yesterday, so Tuesday, starting the week off here, we are going to take a look at one out of the industrial sector. They deal with the stuff that we don't want to, waste management, really the stuff that we don't want. Now, this is the vested interest stock screener. This is the criteria we will be running through in the video. This is an initial screener, so it is not an end-all be-all. It's just out of thousands of companies. This is a way I can look at stocks and see, with the screener, if it makes it onto my watch list passing through the screener, then I am interested in doing more of a deep dive. And if it doesn't, I need to move on and go look at something else. Now, it must meet 5 of 8 to make it on my watch list. If it does, that does not necessarily mean I am buying. It just means I'm interested in looking at their balance sheet, their income statement, and then doing a discounted cash flow analysis on the company. So let's get into it, see if this one makes it onto my watch list. Waste Management, check them out on their homepage, www.wm.com. That's www.wm.com. That is their homepage where I pulled this information from. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I am sure you are well aware of this company. They may even be the company that comes to pick up your garbage. So they deal with residential trash collection and recycling, commercial waste disposal and recycling, roll-off dumpster rental, bulk trash pickup, construction waste disposal. I've used them on multiple projects. They come and they drop off dumpsters. You can even have them set up different dumpsters if you want to recycle. So they will help do that for residential as well as commercial folks. Bagster dumpster in a bag. I've seen those commercials where if maybe you're throwing a bunch of stuff out of your basement, they'll drop a bag off, you fill it up, they come and take it away. E-waste, so if you've got some electronics you want to get rid of. Customer support, you pay your bills, and that is not just for residential. Again, that is for commercial. So folks like me who manage contractors who do a lot of work, we're using them as our cleanup of that garbage. And like I said, they'll drop a dumpster, we fill it up, and they roll it away. They are really dealing with the stuff that we throw away that we do not want anymore. Now, the reason we're taking a look at them, down 4.46% on the day. We are talking about Waste Management, ticker WM, out of the industrial sector. Close out the day at $204.24. 52-week range as low as $197.25, as high as $242.58. They are within 15% of a 52-week low right now. 226, I think it was 83 and under, puts them, so really under 227, puts them within that 15% of a 52-week low, which is where I start to look at companies. Market cap of $82.274 billion, a beta of 0.64, so they are less volatile than the overall market. PE ratio, price to earnings ratio, $32.21, seems a little high. Earnings per share, EPS, $6.35 per share. Earnings date, October 27th, so we just passed that, right? So you would not, or I'm sorry, we just passed that so you can see that. It's not their ex-dividend date, it's their earnings date. So maybe that's part of the reason for the downturn. You can go see that on their website, what's going on with their earnings report that maybe has them dropping today. Forward dividend is forward dividend is $3.30 per share on the year. Divide by 4, though we'll see that here a little later, and it is a 1.54% dividend yield. Ex-dividend date September 12th, so that has passed as well. They did pay out on September 26th, so you would be in line for the next dividend, but you're going to have to wait a couple months to get it. 1-year target estimate, at least according to Yahoo Finance, where I pulled this information from, $250.82. So they do see some potential upside, again, at least according to Yahoo Finance. I'm not affiliated with Yahoo Finance, just one of the sources I go to for information. Now, jumping over to the right, I like to look at dividend yield theory as a quick check on a company to see if it is potentially undervalued. To do that, we look at their 5-year dividend yield average, 1.53%. We compare it to the current 1.54%. Over here, forward, 1.54, same number. Since it is ever so slightly higher, that speaks to potential undervaluation. I mean, really right at fair valuation, but since it is a tick higher, technically, I guess it would be just ever so slightly potentially undervalued, at least according to dividend yield theory. Payout ratio is relatively low at 50.79%, so it doesn't look like they're in danger of a dividend. Still have plenty of free cash flow to continue to pay down debt, make acquisitions, reinvest back into the company, buy back shares, pay the dividend, raise that dividend over time, or even keep some of that free cash flow there on their balance sheet. And speaking of free cash flow, dropping down here, we're going to look at December 2021. They were at $2.4 billion in free cash flow. 2022 looks like a bit of a downturn, $1.9 billion. 2023, further downturn, $1.8 billion. 2024, back on the upswing, $2.1 billion. Trailing 12 months does include part of 2024 numbers. We are only in October, even though it is late October, so we're well into the fourth quarter of 2025, but we still don't have so the trailing 12 months will include at least a couple months of 2024 numbers. But it looks like they're still back on the upswing, 2.16 billion compared to the 2.15 last year. But again, we'll have to wait to see what exactly the number is whenever we roll out of 2025 into 2026. Now, jumping over to stockanalysis.com, this is another source I go to for information. Again, not affiliated with this source or Yahoo Finance, just two sources I go to. You pick any sources that you want, plenty of them out there. These are just two I use, and I do recommend more than one source so you can make sure the information you are looking at is accurate and up to date. I always like to back check my information, see if what I am using, especially buying these companies, right? Whenever they do pass my screener, do pass my other criteria, I'm looking to buy these companies. So I want to actually understand the company, and hopefully you are doing that out there as well. Now, but according to stockanalysis.com, they do have 20 analysts that have taken a look at this. They call it a consensus buy, low estimate of $225, currently much lower than that. So if it came back up to their low estimate of $225, that would represent a potential 10.3% upside. Average estimate is $252.05. That would represent a potential 23.57% increase. And if it happened to hit their high estimate of $277, that would represent a potential 35.8% upside, and you could collect that dividend along the way. Now, I'd like to look at a couple of statistics as part of the initial screener: return on capital employed and earnings per share growth. Return on capital employed, I like above 10%. They're just right there at 11.37. And for earnings per share growth, I like above 5% projected over the next 5 years. They're double that at 10.9, a little over double that at 10.98%. Revenue growth forecasted at 8.27%. That is pretty fast revenue growth. Still don't know if that justifies a 30 plus PE. Earnings per share growth, double digits, does look nice as well. All right, let's keep rolling here. Quarterly payer, as we mentioned, payout ratio under 50%. They're saying 47.85%. So stock analysis is even lower than Yahoo Finance. This is where you might go to a third source and look at it, but both of them have them under 50%. So that's well below under the 75% that I like. Dividend growth is nice at 9.32%, 21 years of growth. Buyback yield is negative. We'd like to see this turn positive, 0.1% negative, not very much, but still we'd like to see this positive. That means they are issuing more shares than they are pulling out of the market since it's negative. If they were pulling more shares out than they are issuing, it would be positive. Shareholder yield is positive at 1.51%. They do pay out like most companies on the March, June, September, December timeframe. Going back in time here to March 2023, they were paying 70 cents, raised it up March 2024 to 75 cents, raised it up most recently March 2025 to 82 cents, some fractions of a penny, and I would anticipate their next raise will be March of 2026. All right, let's run up through the screener, understand the business. Not only do I understand that I have used this business in the past, I don't know that maybe they even pick up my regular garbage at my house, actually, now that I think about it. I believe they do, and I know I've used them on construction sites for roll-off dumpsters quite a few times. Growing free cash flow over the last 4 years. No, there were a couple down years there. Growing dividend, yes, it is growing, and almost 10%, just under 10% there. So nice high single-digit dividend growth. Dividend payout ratio is well under 75%, around that 50% range. Dividend yield theorists, they're just, ever so slightly undervalued, really right around that fair valued, heading towards undervaluation. Like I said, one tick undervalued there, if you want to really call it that. If you didn't give them a check here, I'd understand, but technically they do get the check. In my mind, buy below current cost basis. It is within 15% of a 52-week low, so check there. Return on capital employed above 10%, so check there. Earnings per share growth was well above 5%. It's actually above 10%, so check there. We're looking at 7 out of 8. I believe this one may already be on my watch list, but definitely not one I have looked at recently. Might be time to look at this one. All of the check marks there, a lot of green. We did not look at price to book. What do you think of Waste Management? Is it in your portfolio? Were you selling today? Maybe you're part of the downturn. Is it one you were looking to buy? So waiting on more of a downturn. Would love to hear from you, and let me know what you think of Waste Management in the comment section down below. All right, as always, appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to show me some love. Hit that thumbs up, ring the notification bell. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Join us on this journey to financial freedom. Join the vested interest community. I do personally read and respond to the comments. I am always interested to read your questions, opinions, or suggestions for future topics. So if you have a company like Waste Management you'd like me to cover in the Stock Pick of the Day series, drop it in the comments. I'll work it into the rotation on a day it pulls back. And this is Shane signing off, wishing peace and prosperity to you and yours. And remember, financial security comes to those who take a vested interest. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a great week, and we will see you in the next one. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in this presentation should be considered financial advice. I'm only sharing my opinion. Investing for educational and entertainment purposes. Investing involves risk. You can lose money. You should never invest any amount you're not comfortable losing. Always do your own research. Invest based on your situation, circumstances, and select criteria, or seek the advice and counsel of a certified financial advisor.